Hello you guys, welcome back to All Things Jazzy. If you are new here, go ahead and subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and of course, turn on your post notifications so that you know when I post a new video. Alright, so I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this pineapple cream cake. Let's go ahead and hop into it. Okay, so I will be using a box cake mix for this. This is some white cake mix. Do not let someone tell you guys that you can't use a box cake to make a layer cake because they are so wrong. We're just going to enhance it. Okay, so I am adding in 3 eggs, and after I add in the 3 eggs, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to substitute the water for coffee creamer. So I used a cup of coffee creamer, and I'm going to go ahead and blend that together. Okay, so this cake is also going to call for some oil, but we're going to use butter instead. So I'm going to use 1/3 cup of melted unsalted butter. Okay, so now that the cake mix, the eggs, and the coffee cream is mixed together, I'm going to be using some pineapple jello. So I'm going to be adding in a whole pack of pineapple jello to this cake mix. And again, there goes my I actually used a 1/2 cup of melted butter. And then I'm just going to scrape the bottom so that everything can get well blended together. And I'm going to go ahead and let that mix up. And while that is mixing, I am going to add in some clear vanilla extract. So I'm going to add in a whole teaspoon and then like a little 1/2 teaspoon. That is completely optional. You can use whatever extract that you like or no extract at all. It's going to have a lot of flavor. So I have this coconut cream jello. I am just going to add the powder mix. I added about a 1/2 pack of that to my mix, and then I'm just going to go ahead and just let that finish mixing all up while I clean up my mess. Okay, so once you don't see the powder mix or the oils from the extract anymore, it's done. You don't want to over mix your cake, so I'm just going to go ahead and move that out the way. I have 2 pans here, 2 8-inch cake pans that I have already greased and I already floured. And then I'm just going to scrape around the sides and the bottom just to make sure that there is no more of the flour or cake mixture down there, because we don't want to leave that down at the bottom, of course. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour these into these pans evenly. I have a good eye for pouring cakes. I've been making cake with my grandma and we never use measuring cups since I was younger. But if you want to make sure that everything is even out, just use a measuring cup to, pour them into the pans so that way they even out the way that you need to. But these are going to be even for me, you guys. You'll see in a little bit. Okay, so getting into the frosting, I did say this was a pineapple cream cake, so I am going to be using this whole stick or whole block of cream cheese, and I'm also going to be using a whole stick of butter. So I'm going to be adding both of these into my stand mixer. If you do not have a stand mixer, you can use a bowl and a hand mixer, and if you don't have either of those, just use like a wooden spoon or a really heavy spoon and just make sure everything is soft. This stuff is soft. And you can mix it up. It'll be a lot of hand work, but it works. So I'm just going to go ahead and let those two cream together. Okay, so now that those are done creaming together, I am just going to go ahead and scrape the bottom and the sides. This is how you want it. So it did cream for about 3 minutes all together. And of course, frosting wouldn't be complete without some powdered sugar. So I am using my favorite measuring cup, favorite measuring cup to measure out 3 cups of powdered sugar. I am going to use a total of 4 cups, but so I'm going to start off with 2 cups and I'm going to let that blend. I'm going to start it at a low speed so that sugar is not flying everywhere. So before I add in my other sugar, I am going to go ahead and stop it and scrape the sides and the bottom. Again, just to make sure that everything is incorporated, and I'm going to add my other cup of sugar. I actually ended up using 3 cups versus 4 because I don't want it to be that thick. So if you want it thicker, you can add in another cup of sugar. Okay, so now that this is nice and smooth, just the way that I need it for my cake, I am going to go ahead and set it to the side. And what we're going to make, I'm going to puree some pineapple, some crushed pineapples and some cream cheese. And I'm going to use that to I'm going to use it to pour into my cake. So I'll be like poking some holes into my cake to pour it over it just to have more moisture in the cake. This is totally optional, but this is what was requested of me, so I am going to do it. And actually it's going to be pretty good because especially if you eat it warm, but I don't like to warm up my layer cakes or a piece of cake, but everybody knows eating a piece of cake warm, it's like melting in your mouth. So this cream cheese and pineapple, and I'm going to put a little bit of powdered sugar with it, just pureed together, and it's going to be so liquidy, just drip it off into the cake. It's just going to have an outburst of flavor, of moisture, of melts in your mouth cake. Okay, so this smells so good, you guys. So now the cakes are done. All right, so I am just going to sit them on the cooling racks and let them cool off just a little bit. Okay, so now that they are cooled off and they are cool enough for me to touch, they are not like completely cool, but they are cool to touch. And this is a process of making this cake in one day in less than 3 hours. So I am going to wrap them in saran wrap and place them in the freezer, and I placed them in the freezer for about an hour, and now they are nice and cool, and they're going to be so much easier to work with. I am going to unravel these, and because they were warm when I placed them in the freezer, we sealed some moisture in there in this cake. So I'm just going to go ahead and unravel these, and so we can get to decorating. Okay, so I have a cake board here. I am going to just add some frosting to the bottom of the cake board. And then I have my cake stand, and I'm going to use this because it's turnable, which makes decorating the cake so much easier. And so after applying the frosting to the bottom, or this is the top, not the bottom, it's going to be the bottom of the cake, or the top of the cake board, I'm just going to stick the cake on here, make sure it's even all around, and then we will start just adding frosting to this first layer. Okay, so now I'm going to put the second cake on there. I like to press it down and move it around just to make sure that it is not lump-sided. Nobody wants a lump-sided cake, even if you are making it just for your family. And then I'm just going to go around and I want to add frosting all around. We're going to crumb coat this first, which is the process of just making sure no crumbs is going to end up in the main frosting or scraping off. So I'm just going to add this frosting around and then scrape it down, which is considered also to be like a semi-naked cake. You can leave it where you can like kind of see the cake in between the frosting, but we don't want that. We want a full cake, full frosted. Okay, so now I'm just using a cake scraper just to scrape the cake, the extra frosting off the cake, and then we're just gonna sit it in the freezer or the refrigerator. I'm putting it in my deep freezer because so that it can cool off. I mean set, not cool off. The cake doesn't need to cool off, y'all, so that it can set. Okay, so this is how it looks with that first layer of frosting. This is the crumb coating. And now I am going to go ahead and just pop it in the freezer. Okay, so this is 15 minutes later. Okay, so much easier to work with. Now I'm just going to add a second round of frosting. And you're going to see me adding a bunch of frosting. So you're going to cover the cake. And then we're going to go ahead and scrape it off with a cake scraper. Okay, so now I'm going to use a cake comb now that it's out the freezer for the second time. Just create a little comb or line design. I am only going to do it once. If you want the lines deeper, you would do it more than once. Okay, so this is the cream cheese kind of pineapple juice that I was making over there when I pureed the cream cheese and pineapples together. I am just going to pour this on top of the cake, and then I'm going to use a toothpick to kind of just poke some holes in the cake to let it drip down. Okay, so I'm going to add some crushed pineapples on top because again, this is a pineapple cream cake. Okay. My version, my way. There's definitely another way to make this. I make it another way as well, but we wanted a really moist, melt in your mouth type of cake, and that's exactly what this is going to be. So adding these crushed pineapples, and I'm going to move everything to the sides just to let this the cream or the puree mixture that we made, that cream cheese and pineapple mixture that we made, drip to the side. So it's going to start dripping to the sides, which is okay, because once I let it set, it's going to create like a drip, because it is going to set to the point of it won't be liquidy or dripping anymore. So I am using my 1M tip, which happens to my favorite tip, just to add a little decoration around the cake, and then we're going to put it back in the refrigerator. We're going to put it in the refrigerator this time just to let it sit. And here is the finished cake. I did add a little decoration to the bottom as well. As you can see, that drip did settle, and I just threw some frosting around the top just to make it just a little bit cuter. Okay, you guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and I'll see you in the next one.